There has been a, quote, uptick in threat reporting just 2 weeks ahead of the Winter Olympics in Sochi, Russia. This comes right after 5 countries got a threat to their delegations via email message. Russian Olympic officials are calling the threats a provocation and say they should be ignored. In spite of a tight ring of security in and around Sochi, 60,000 personnel, double what was in London 2 years ago, some American fans and family members are reconsidering their travel plans.
I'm certainly going to be more focused on my surroundings.
I'm just going to stick to my zone and roll up into a little ball, do my event, and just get out of there, I think.
I don't get a lot of confidence from the U.S. government. They seem like they question whether the Russians have a handle on it or not.
Democratic California Congressman Adam Schiff is a member of the House Select Committee on Intelligence. Congressman, good morning.
Good morning.
I know that you had a briefing on the Sochi security situation just yesterday. The chairman of your committee, Mike Rogers, says he's very concerned about the security situation. Are you?
I am concerned about it, but I also think that the risks are manageable. I think for Americans that are contemplating going to the games, it's a very individual decision to make. But if they stick to, I think, what the authorities tell them in terms of where they should go and areas that they should stay out of, and they are aware of their surroundings, I think the risk can be managed. None of this is ever going to be perfectly safe. Certainly the Russians are doing a lot of what they should be doing. Probably the only shortcomings are I don't think they're necessarily drawing on as much support as they could get from the United States and perhaps other countries. But within the scope of what the Russians can do themselves, they seem to be moving heaven and earth to try to make it as safe as possible.
Well, if a constituent came to you then and said, and maybe a family member of somebody who is an Olympian and said, you know, I am nervous, should I go? Would you let your family go? You'd say yes?
Well, I would probably say yes. Again, it all depends on people's threshold for risk. But I think the risks can be managed, and I think the risks of traveling to other parts of the world, even during regular non-Olympic times, are very significant and maybe at least as great as going to Russia today. So I think there certainly are dangers out there, and there are a lot of people who would like to literally blow up the Olympics. But I think if you stick to the areas you're supposed to be in, if you pay attention to your surroundings, then I think those risks can be contained.
There is a new poll out showing half of Americans think that a terrorist attack in Sochi is likely. And if you talk to terror analysts, they say if not in Sochi, maybe in a train on the approach somewhere else in the country. And one of the concerns that's been raised time and time again is the relationship between U.S. and Russian intelligence officials. Do you think Americans are getting the information they need from the folks over there, and that the cooperation is what it should be?
Well, the cooperation is certainly not what it should be or what it could be. And I agree with those that would probably estimate that the risk outside of Sochi is probably greater than the risk inside. Those are softer targets, easier for people that want to commit acts of mayhem to reach. There's really kind of a human cordon around Sochi right now. I think getting there is probably more risky than once you get there. Yes, the Russians could do more. There's a lot of distrust between our intelligence agencies. One level, it's understandable why the Russians are resistant. At another, if it comes to protecting their people and their guests, I think they should take out all the stops, which means letting others help them protect the Olympic Games.
I also want to ask you about the NSA, because you've introduced legislation that would kind of restructure the metadata program. And there's a new report out from a watchdog agency that says the NSA's bulk phone records collection is illegal, that it should end. Tell us your thoughts on that report.
I think the Privacy and Civil Liberties Board report is really the final nail in the coffin of the government bulk collection of telephone metadata. I have at least two independent reviews, one that was done by a group selected by the administration, one now done by a group appointed by Congress, essentially through legislation by Congress, both reaching the same conclusion, that this program has very limited value, but poses a very great risk to privacy. And in that balance between privacy and security, the program is wanting. So this program is just not going to be reauthorized next year, but I don't think Congress should wait. I think should move to restructure that program now.
Congressman Adam Schiff of California, thanks so much.
Thank you.